All right, so, you know, technology is a wonderful thing when it works, and more importantly, internet service is very important. Otherwise, you get dropped out like I did. So I apologize to you guys for that, but welcome in once again as we try and make heads or tails of what's going on with Marshawn Lynch. I don't know if you guys had a chance to check it out, but Marshawn Lynch is in all sorts of trouble once again. And I've got a video here that, guess who got a hold of it? TMZ. And if you are an athlete trying to make it back into the NFL, the last thing that you want are the words TMZ associated with your name. And Marshawn Lynch, I guess, flew into LAX the other day, and he came off the plane. He was coming out of baggage, and he popped into the parking garage, is what it looked like, at LAX, where he was met by a couple of teenagers. And, well, you can just watch the video, and you can see why it is that Marshawn Lynch, for a guy that is trying to make it back into the NFL, who's doing an awful lot to try and get himself a deal with the new Las Vegas Raiders. He wants to play for the Raiders next year. I don't know how he's going to do that if he continues to enter arm wrestling competitions and continues to piss off the NFL. I know, by the way, might very well have assault charges levied against him. Here's the video from TMZ. What's going on, Peter?
We never see you, bro. Can you please sign, bro? What's up? Hey, come on, man. I ain't doing anything, bro. Can you... Marshawn, you my son, bro? Marshawn.
Now, the thing that gets me with that is a couple of things that get me with that. Number one, why is he not with anybody? Wasn't Marshawn Lynch always the guy that had a monster crew around with him? What's going on, Michael? How are you, man? Show getting picked up. I'll have news actually shortly for you regarding that. But did you see that backpack too? Like, what was that? You came out of baggage. You came out of the baggage carousel with only that white backpack on, and then you walked out into the garage there, and you didn't have anybody with you. Like, there was nobody waiting for you. Like you're beast mode. Shouldn't you be having all sorts of people waiting for you or traveling with you? The whole situation seemed really, really weird. What's going on, GT Mike? Oh, GT Mike in the house. Good Christ, I missed you, brother. So anyway, the kid ended up getting his screen cracked on the phone, and he's now also considering filing assault charges. And he ended up, as you could see on the video there, he ended up spitting towards some of the kids, which really pissed the kids off. And so now, of course, they've got an attorney involved, and Okay, Marshawn Lynch, good luck with trying to get back into the NFL. I'm a little confused with all of that there. But like Major said there, maybe running out of money is going to make your crew disappear, maybe when you're not in the limelight anymore. But even still, man, that was just a weird-ass scene, man. That really was. That whole, I mean, you look at that backpack, man. Like, what's up with that backpack? And he's all bent out of shape because a couple of kids are look at this. He knocks it out of his hands, and then he walks back inside, and then he comes out and watch him do the loogie here. Watch him spit right down on the ground. He's going to spit right towards him. Yeah. And now, of course, they're going to use that too as. Yeah, look at the kid. The kids actually took a video shot of the loogie. Yeah, it's just not a good situation. It's not a good look. It's not a good situation at all. So I'm not sure what the hell the dude was thinking. I'm really not. But don't forget, he's interested in going to the New England Patriots if they'll have him. Looks like, what's that? Looks like a backpack that holds kids. It really does. It looks like something you would send your kids to camp with, man. It was very strange. Not something a trillionaire ex-running back or retired running back would have. I do want to say shout out to, by the way, to the Marlins last night, who there were some pictures that got circulated regarding the dedication to Jose Fernandez's locker. They kind of left it the way it was the last time that he was in that locker room. I thought that was pretty cool. They put it over a glass enclosure in the locker room there. Really cool stuff. They did beat the Braves last night. It's going to be a tough year. It's going to be tough. Every game is going to be really tough with these guys. But I thought that was pretty cool the way they turned that into a shrine there and just left everything the way it was in there. And his memory with that organization will live forever. That's for sure, especially with this town and with that team. But I thought that was a nice job on what they did there last night, the Miami Marlins. So maybe if they can get some pitching and win a few games here this year, it'll be cool. That was the home opener, by the way, last night or yesterday that they had hosted the Braves. They did hold a moment of silence for Jose Fernandez prior to the game, which was kind of cool there. And they hung his jersey up. Yeah, it's going to be a tough year for the Marlins. Any which way you cut it, it's going to be a tough year. The Yankees, you're right, Peter. The Yankees today ended up winning their game, their afternoon game against the Rays, and they sent that rookie pitcher out, that kid Montgomery. They brought him up to be able to throw, and he is supposed to be what many believe is, quite honestly, a good number 3, a number 2, or number 3 in the next couple of years for the Yankees. Somebody, a solid arm that they can build around. He was pretty good through 4 or 5 innings, had only given up 2 or 3 runs, and then they went to the bullpen, and then Chase Headley figured out how to hit again. So the Yankees put a bunch of runs up on the board. They've now got back to 500. They're 4-4. Aaron Judge is playing good. He's hit some bombs, hasn't he, man? He has hit some bombs. So good for the Yankees, though. Back to 4-4. The Rays are coming back down to earth. They're 5-4. The Mets are taking on the Phillies last night. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see what Cespedes did last night, but it was not 1, not 2, but he went yard 3 times last night. Just had a field day and feasted on the pitching of the Phillies there, which a lot of teams are going to do this year. But Cespedes has been absolutely on fire. Matt Harvey pitched well last night. Unfortunately, Matt Harvey left in the 6th inning. He has a bit of a strain in the hamstring, they're saying, but they don't anticipate, Terry Collins doesn't anticipate that he's going to be out too long. And how about the Twins? You're right, Major Lewis. How about the Twins? The Twins, as a matter of fact, had a game earlier with the Tigers. They did lose that game today. 5-3, the Tigers ended up winning. And all of a sudden, the Tigers, at 6-2, We knew their pitching staff, their starting pitching was going to be pretty impressive. Anytime you got Verlander going to the mound, this kid Fulmer today ended up taking the win. They can pitch, and all of a sudden the Tigers are playing some pretty damn good baseball. The Twins, they got nothing to be ashamed about. I mean, who thought the Twins were going to start out and be 5-3? We only thought they were going to win 5 games all year, Major. So pretty good news there for the Minnesota Twins. But don't forget that the best record in baseball, guys, belongs to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Didn't see that coming either. They are 7-2. They are taking on the Giants tonight. So that'll be interesting to see. The Orioles and the Red Sox. Red Sox are 4-3. Orioles are 4-2. The Cubs are 5-2. They're taking on the Dodgers. Once again, that game's coming up tonight. Currently, right now, you've got the Rockies. This is strange. The Rockies at home, at Coors Field, no less, only have 3 hits. The Padres are smoking them. They scored 4 in the first. They're leading 6-0. Boy, oh boy. The Cardinals looks like they might finally get a win. 3-0. They're leading over the Nationals. And Max Scherzer started that game today for the Nationals. So it's good that the Cardinals can get back in the win column because, man, oh man, the first 8 games have not been kind to the St. Louis Cardinals, and somebody's got to keep pace with the damn Chicago Cubs. You can't let them be 20 games in first place at the All-Star game again. Somebody's got to keep pace, at least make it interesting in the National League Central. They're probably going to end up winning it, but Jesus, please keep it somewhat close. And the other news, I don't know if you guys caught this. Have you guys seen what this guy's been doing? Springer, this guy, George Springer. George Springer is a beast, folks. The guy is a beast. He has now led off a game. He's only played, 9 games? There's only been 9 games, and he has led off the game 4 times with a home run. That's absurd. That's absolutely absurd. Now, you're going to ask, who holds the record? Like, who's got the record for the most leadoff home runs in a season? And the answer actually is pretty cool, and I forgot about this. Alfonso Soriano did it twice. He did it back in 2003. He hit 13. Brady Anderson also did it back in 96. Bobby Bonds did it in 73. He hit 11. But this dude's 40% of the way towards the record, and they haven't even played 10 games yet. I think they're getting ready to play their 10th game tonight, if I'm not mistaken. The Astros are taking on the Mariners. The Astros have only played 9 games, and this guy has led the game off 4 times, 4 out of 9 games with a home run. So, I thought Ricky Henderson would be up there too, Major, but no, it's actually Soriano did it twice. Brady Anderson was another guy. For those Oriole fans, you may remember Brady Anderson. He was another guy. Didn't take steroids at all, Brady Anderson, not at all. There was no steroids involved in Brady Anderson's career at all. But Brady Anderson had hit 12 in 96. As well. So Jacques Jones, actually wasn't Jacques Jones, Major, you can tell me this, wasn't Jacques Jones a Minnesota Twin, or was he a Brave back in the early 2000s? He had hit 11 too, but I thought that was pretty cool. If you can beat that record, and Soriano was not your average leadoff hitter, and neither is this guy, but pitchers better figure out a way other than throwing fastballs right down the middle of the plate on how to get this guy out. That would be fantastic. And one final story I wanted to, he was good, cool. One final story that I wanted to get to you guys. I'm not sure if you, every now and then these stories come across and just make me scratch my head and go, what in the fuck is going on here? Seriously, like, what is going on? There is an NCAA coach that just got fired from Oral Roberts. Now, you might be saying, well, Oral Roberts, that sounds like a fun school to go to. Not really. It's not that fun to go to. They just fired their head coach after 2 bad seasons. And this coach right here, his name is, I believe Sutton is his name. Yeah, he is a guy that they had brought in a couple of years ago and actually had a pretty good run as the head basketball coach for Oral Roberts, which is in Oklahoma. And there's a new athletic director that came in. His name is Mike Carter, and he came in a couple of 2 years ago, as a matter of fact, when everything started to go hard left for Oral Roberts. And he he's been there 11 years. He has had some really, really good teams at Oral Roberts for a D1 basketball school. As a matter of fact, from 01 to 2012, his teams were 130-40 in division play there in the Summit League division. He wasn't all that good back in 15 and 16, only 14 and 17 overall. And then, of course, this past year, he went 8-22 and 4-12 in the division. And the new athletic director had to go in and replace him, and they fired him. And you're going to say, all right, so what's interesting about that? Well, the reason they fired him, the reason that they gave for firing this guy, Scott Sutton, was because the new president came in to Oral Roberts and told him that you are not to recruit anybody who is not a professed Christian and who has tattoos. So we don't want you giving scholarships, and we don't want you recruiting anybody that isn't a professed Christian or anybody that has body ink. So as you can imagine, that pretty much limits the pool of players that might be able to attend Oral Roberts. But I thought this was a joke when I read this story. Yes, there will be no recruiting of any athlete unless they are a devout and professed Christian and have absolutely no ink on their body. Yeah, so basically he only got a handful of guys to be able to come to that school that could actually play basketball. And that is pretty much why they have sucked over the last 2 years. And apparently he's been battling with the president, he's been battling with the athletic director for 2 years. And he's been like, listen, you can't handcuff me like this. We're actually a pretty decent Division I school for as small a school as we are. And many people believe he's a damn good coach. He's a really good coach. But unfortunately, he was thrown out due to the fact that he just did not want to stick to the guidelines, which was make sure they are devout Christians and no ink. So if we have learned anything from LeVar Ball over these last couple of months, the legendary LeVar Ball, you are not winning with a whole bunch of white guys on a team that have no ink and only profess their love to God and call Christianity home. I'm just saying that is a bit of a problem in this day and age, especially if you're in Division I. Now, if you're in Division II or Division III and you could care less, I get it. But if you're going to be a Division I program, you are going to need to expand your horizons when it comes to recruiting a little bit. The idea that you are just going to get athletes that only fit into this little box and you're going to be able to compete in Division I is a little bit ridiculous. And the fact that this guy has been coaching for 15, 16 years at that school. He's been a great coach. A lot of guys love him. And the fact that, this poor guy is now out of a job because Oral Roberts and the president have decided that nobody with tattoos or outside of the Christian faith are going to be allowed to attend. That sucks. That really does suck. So you got anybody that that's a basketball player? If they don't profess their love to Christianity, guys, they're out. They're out. Can't win with a bunch of white dudes with no tattoos. Can't do it in this day and age. Hate to break the news to you. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. All right, guys, you got the NBA on tonight, and I'm rooting for the Heat. I hope you guys are rooting for the Heat, too. So they got to take care of the Wizards. If they can take care of the Wizards, then hopefully, maybe with any luck, the Chicago Bulls will fall flat on their face playing all of those D-League players that the Nets are going to roll out tonight. The Nets have already announced, if you're just joining us, the Nets have already announced that they are not starting anybody that actually makes money or is under contract this year with them. The Brooklyn Nets are sitting everybody, including Brook Lopez, including Booker, including everybody and anybody that actually started for them this year. They're going to be on the bench, which leaves, I don't even know, they might be signing guys off the